Hello, good afternoon. Welcome everyone from wherever you are getting in touch with us. We are very happy to have you here. This is our second podcast, and we are very happy you're able to join us this afternoon. We are going to deal today with water catching in the urban and rural context. This is a very important subject, isn't it? What can we do as citizens from our homes to actually be able to collect water and to fight against this drought that we have in Baja California Sur? Let me welcome you from the University of Baja California Sur, Mexico. Welcome, whether you are watching us, works, and please don't forget that you have simultaneous translation for all of those who are listening in English. Well, they thank me. Hola, hola. Thank you, thank you. So here we go. Today we are going to have a conversation with fantastic people. They are very, very learned in this subject of water gathering. You've probably heard of them in forums or events. Today, we are going to work with the experiences and voices of Joaquin Murrieta. You hear Monica Robinson. Before going ahead, I would like to remind everyone that this effort that we are sharing with you live, it is a collective effort of several institutions. Baja California Institute, BCI, our hellos to them, also very involved. The Science and Technology Council of South California, the Commission of Water in Mexico. And finally, so the Sciences of the Earth of the University of Baja California Sur is also integrated in the commission of this event. So this effort is to inform the whole citizenship so that everybody can understand what these techniques are and how we can implement them individually. So please, don't forget to put in the social networks where you are following us from, country, etc. That's very important, so that we have an idea of what our audience is. So today we're going to begin with the presentation and the participation of our first guest, Doctor, as you see in the screen, from the University of Guadalajara. Let me explain a little bit about him. He's teacher at the university with tenure. He's published a high number of articles, scientific articles, related to the hydrological restoration of and also river water gathering. He has supported very much all the citizens that have really wanted to help in this fight to obtain water for everyone. Today, he is talking about opportunities for Mexico in the harvesting of water in Mexico. So now He's talking to us from Guadalajara. Good afternoon, doctor. Hello, good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here with all of you. I am talking to you from the University of Guadalajara with the aim to provide you with more context and more information on the subject that we're going to deal with. And I want to thank everyone that has made this program. So I have 8 minutes. So I'm going to talk to you. Okay, I'm going to start out my presentation. Here we go. Opportunities for Mexico to harvest rainwater. That is our subject. So what I would like to talk about. So he wants to talk very fast because there's a lot to talk about. So he wants to say what some people, some scientists and researchers have been working on related to this subject. So, situation of water in Mexico, I don't want to get deeply into this. We have seen this figure where we see like those red dots in several regions in the world and in our country. There's all the red that we have in Mexico and the hydric stress that we have in Baja California, the whole peninsula. What we suggest is that the problem of water is not that we need it, sorry, but that we can see a little bit of what you see of the basin of the water and how it is spread all over. So when we build cities, we see that distribution of water, of rainwater, changes completely. There is a very brusque change. So there is a lot more flow, runoff. So here is some data. For 71%, well, you can see in the. Oh, sorry, he's going too fast. I apologize. Okay, so what has happened with the water supply from a general point of view? So we see some alternatives of supply. It's not a new subject. Here we see the impluvium, which is like what Romans started to do centuries ago. So here Mayas started doing that kind of thing with cisterns. And in Mexico, through different efforts, we have been working, all these actors that you see in the screen. And in general, in the subject of river water gathering, speaking from an academic point of view. So different organizations. He's just describing all this that you see. The government has pushed in its program for water harvesting and also in Guadalajara through the government of Jalisco and also Conagua. And the organization that I represent, we are all together making a big effort to to make a very interesting efforts for water harvesting. So here is our program. Since 2020, it started to give fruit in different delegations in Chilico and other places. In Guadalajara, Jalisco, we are implementing the rainwater harvesting also in Chihuahua. You see in the mountain and in rural areas. And we have been trying to get other additions to our program. Did you see? We are still working on it. It didn't go much further. And the association AMSCAL is making very interesting efforts. Here you can see our systems and this is what we are proposing. We are trying for cisterns and the catchment distribute. Well, you can see the slide here. This is what he's talking about. So especially when there is a scarcity of water. So this is the system that we are proposing, and AMSCAL is what we in internet as well, and that's where we are grouping all our efforts with young people, researchers, businesses, etc. We had in 2006, we had the first meeting in campus in the University of Guadalajara. All these people from many different countries, they came to give us their support in our program of rainwater harvesting. These are our activities. So we go to different congresses, we give certifications, webinars, promotion, networking, membership, and here this is an example of what we started doing during the pandemic. Started offering courses, and here we have different books, and we participate in presentations in very many countries: Japan, the United States. Here you see our last publication. It's the book is like harvesting and use of water harvesting, and I'm going back that I want to thank for the effort and all these associations that are helping at a national level from businesses, ecology, science, and we have done the Festival of the Rain, and we have been promoting harvesting also at an international level. We are in Africa teaching, and to finish with, what we are trying is a transformation in the culture of water. We don't want just to install different installations, but what we want is to change the culture and the way of thinking, so that we can install systems that we can spread and that finally become regulations. And this is all from me, and here you have my webpage and my email address, and this is it. Thank you very much.
Notorio y evidente la teoría tras esta práctica tan útil y provechosa, sobre todo
Thank
nosotros
you
aquí que vivimos en
very
Sudamérica,
much.
¿no? Y revisábamos justamente su charla en la parte última, que nos comentó una frase
We
que
were
nos deja
checking
la
the last
reflexión
part
a todos
of
los que
your
estamos
chat,
escuchando este
in which we get
conversatorio.
to
Busquemos y
think about.
valoremos la percepción del valor del agua de la lluvia,
let's
porque
let's
aún como sociedad no le
revalue
hemos
and
otorgado ese valor
think
y
and give it
realmente es una inversión
another way of
bastante
thinking to the value
significativa.
of water.
Quiero en este momento agradecer a todas las personas que nos están
I
escribiendo desde redes sociales,
I
que están
want to
conectados aquí
send a
en
big
este
thank you to all the
conversatorio de forma
people
puntual. Nos
that are
escriben
writing
desde
from all
Sinaloa,
these
Santiago, Los
web
Cabos, desde
red
la provincia de
social
Chaco en
networks
Argentina, un
from
total
Los
Argentina,
Cabos, from
saludos.
Argentina,
También nos
even
están
from
viendo
the
desde
north of
Los
Argentina.
Barriles, Baja
Thank you.
California Sur. Qué
From
bueno
Los
que nos estén
Barriles.
siguiendo a través de toda la
Thank
geografía
you. I am
mexicana
very
y
glad that
también
you
por
are following
Latinoamérica.
us from
Bienvenidos y
Mexico
sigan
and
por
from
ahí
Latin America.
contactándonos, colocando
Please
preguntas
keep
para
on
nuestros
contacting
ponentes,
us
que
and
al
asking
final
us
del
questions,
conversatorio les vamos a dar
because
lectura.
at the end of the
Muchísimas gracias, doctor
presentations, we
José
will
Arturo
be
Gleason. Él
giving you
es profesor
answers.
investigador de la Universidad de
Thank you.
Guadalajara con el tema Oportunidades para México en la captación de agua de lluvia. Vamos
Thank
entonces
you
a
to our
proseguir con nuestro
previous
siguiente
presentation.
ponente de la tarde
And
del día
now we
de
come
hoy.
to the
Me
next one.
refiero en este caso al doctor
This
Joaquín
is
Murrieta-Saldivar. Buenas
Dr.
tardes, doctor
Joaquin
Joaquín, ¿cómo está?
Murrieta-Saldivar.
Bienvenido.
Good afternoon. How
Hola, ¿qué
are
tal? Buenas
you?
tardes y es un gusto estar colaborando con
Hello,
ustedes
it's a
ahí que están
pleasure
en La Paz, Baja
to
California
collaborate
Sur, en
with you
México.
in La
Ahí vivimos
Paz.
un tiempo ahorita en La
I
Paz
lived
y
over
me da gusto
there.
oír de los
Exacto.
barriles, de Cabo, de todas esas
First,
cosas.
Así es, toda la geografía
and I love
subcaliforniana.
hearing from
No, pues
Barriles, from
muchísimas gracias,
Cabo,
doctor Joaquín Murrieta. Él es director de conservación
all the
Borderlands Restoration
Californian
Network. Y
geography.
permítanme presentarles
His
una mini bio, una mini semblanza
you,
del doctor Joaquín Murrieta.
let me explain a
Él
little bit
justamente
about
está
him.
conectado desde Arizona, Estados Unidos, por supuesto. Muchísimos
He's
saludos
connecting us from
al estado de Arizona,
Arizona,
con el cual guardamos muchas similitudes
USA,
bioclimáticas. El
with
doctor Joaquín Murrieta tiene
who
un
we have a
doctorado en
lot of
estudios de
similarities.
recursos naturales con la Universidad de
He's
Arizona.
done a
Es
lot of studies from
especializado
the
en la
with the
percepción
University of
humana y
Arizona,
su relación con el mundo natural.
and
Ha colaborado con numerosas
he has
organizaciones,
collaborated
tanto
with a lot of
regionales, nacionales e
organizations,
internacionales,
national
a lo
and
largo de su
international,
trayectoria, como
along
Sonoran
his
Institute, National
trajectory,
Geographic
like the
Society,
Sonoran.
Environmental Defense Fund y
You better
Watershed
hear her.
Management Group. Él comenta que le apasiona la felicidad de
He
los ríos. Qué bonito es eso, ¿no? Y
adores
la
the
mejora continua
happiness of
de una
rivers. How
cultura
beautiful
de
is that
conservación,
quote?
restauración para el bienestar de la naturaleza y los seres
He was
humanos. Él
conservation
nos va
and
a compartir
restoration
la
for
tarde del
the
día de hoy un
wellness of
tema muy
nature.
ameno,
Those are quotes from him.
captación de lluvia en el
So
contexto
today,
urbano. ¿Qué podemos hacer con ese tema?
harvesting
Adelante, doctor
rainwater,
Joaquín, bienvenido y
harvesting
muchas
in the
gracias. El
urban
micrófono es suyo.
context. That's what we are dealing
Gracias,
with.
doctora.
Go ahead.
Y
Thank
empezamos
you.
con esa pregunta
So let
de
me
qué
start
hacemos
with
cuando
that
llueve
question. What do
en
we do
nuestras
when it
casas, en
rains?
nuestras
In our
ciudades y
houses,
más
in our
bien, ¿qué es lo que
cities,
hacemos? ¿Qué si
and
estamos
more than
listos
what we
para la
do
lluvia?
is, are we ready
Por
for
muchas
rain?
culturas, en
Because
muchos
a lot of
tiempos han
cultures
estado muy listos para
and
la
many
lluvia,
times
como
have
estamos
been very
anteriormente
ready for
conversando.
water.
Sí, los romanos, sí,
So
los pueblos
Romans
originarios, tanto
and
de Estados Unidos como de
the
México y de Sudamérica, ya
the
venían cosechando el agua de
people,
lluvia y en algún momento se nos
natives or
ofreció que la
aboriginals from
lluvia es
Mexico
un
and
recurso
this
hídrico para
continent were really
nosotros.
ready. And
Pero
eh,
actualmente en nuestras
rain
ciudades
is
es una
a
constante
resource,
lucha de
and
querer
in our
sacar
places where
el
we live,
agua de
it's a
lluvia
constant
de
fight
nuestras
to
ciudades. O
try to
sea,
get the
ya nos
rainwater
andamos
from our
peleando con el
cities.
agua
We are
en La
fighting
Paz, en
water
Hermosillo, en
in La
Coscyt, en la
Paz,
Ciudad de México, en
in
Morelia. Es
Tucson
una
and
constante
Mexico City.
quererle sacar el
We are
agua de las
always
ciudades.
fighting
En
to
vez
get
de
the
darle la
water,
bienvenida.
rainwater, out
¿Por qué la
of
bienvenida?
the cities
Porque, ¿qué es
instead
lo que
of
vemos
welcoming
aquí?
it.
Desde la
And why
creación del
welcome?
planeta.
Because since we
Es
see,
la misma
since the
agua.
creation of the planet,
Por lo tanto, ¿qué pasa con el agua a nivel planetario y a nivel
we've used
ciudad y
water
a nivel ser humano? El
for everything.
64% de cada ser humano en el mundo es agua. Por lo tanto tenemos que
What
alimentarnos con eso.
the
Y es la
earth
misma agua
is
desde que
water,
se creó el planeta.
world
Eso
is
está muy
water, and
interesante,
it is
¿eh?
the
No hay nueva
same
agua,
water
no
the
hay
planet
vieja
was
agua.
created.
Ya lo dijo el doctor también. Estamos trabajando con un
We are
ciclo, con un reciclamiento del agua.
working with
Esta agua que está tomando
recycling of
ahorita, pues está
water
viviendo en un
because
pueblito por
this is
ahí.
the
A lo mejor
this
en algún
water,
momento fue la misma
it's
agua que los
this water
dinosaurios
I'm
tomaron.
showing you.
Vamos a la
It's
siguiente.
probably the same
La
water that
siguiente transparencia. Y como ya
Aboriginals were
decía, como
drinking.
vemos aquí de
So,
izquierda a derecha en esta
like I was
fotografía, que es la
saying,
ciudad de Tucson, pues básicamente es un baldazo de agua. Pero ese balde tiene unas dimensiones más o
so
menos
what happens when it rains?
no de
It's
unos 15
basically it's a
kilómetros de
big
largo,
bucket of water.
5 de ancho y 4 de alto. ¿Cuánta
So, but
agua no hay en una
it
balde de 15 kilómetros
imagine
de sus
how
dimensiones? O sea,
much
son
water there is
millones
in
de
a
litros
bucket
de
of
agua
like
los que estamos
15
viendo acá en
kilometers.
esta ciudad. Por
How
lo tanto,
many
¿qué
liters
podemos
are
hacer
there
con esa agua? La que sigue.
falling down
Y,
on our
y resulta que
cities?
podemos hacer un montón de agua.
So,
Aquí
and
está
as
esta
it
imagen que
happens, we
hace
can do
mención.
a lot with
Lo
it.
único que
Here,
estamos haciendo con la
what you
cosecha
can
de agua de
see,
lluvia
the only
es
thing we're doing
regresar a los
in
niveles naturales,
rain
porque el
water harvesting is
50%
go
del agua
back
se infiltra
to the
al suelo.
origins because
Y para tener ríos,
50%
para
of the
tener la
water goes back
felicidad de
down
nuestros ríos,
underground.
esa es mi chamba, ese es mi
So,
trabajo. A mí me gusta ver mis
for the
ríos que
happiness
fluyan,
of
no verlos
rivers,
secos.
I
Pero
want
para
to
tener
see
un río
rivers
fluyendo,
flowing. I don't
tenemos
see
que
them drying,
infiltrar
but
el
to see a river that is
50%
flowing,
del
we
agua.
have
En
to
cambio, en nuestras
actually
ciudades no
harvest
estamos haciendo eso.
50% of the
Estamos nada
water.
más
But
infiltrando
in the
un
cities,
máximo de
we are not.
15%.
We
Por
are
lo
not
tanto,
doing
existe una
50%, we're
gran
doing maximum
oportunidad de desecho
15%
de
of
agua
filtering.
hasta de un
So we are ruining a lot
55%
of
de
our
la lluvia
chances of
para
harvesting
cosechar.
water.
¿Qué pasa con esa agua? La
What
gran
happens with that
mayoría de las
water? Most
escorrentías en
of
la
it,
ciudad
a lot of
desafortunadamente
the
se evaporan
runoffs
o
of
se nos van
water
muy
are
rápido en unas
unfortunately
altas
evaporate,
velocidades que no las podemos
or they
aprovechar.
go very,
Ya
very
una vez
fast,
evaporada el
and
agua,
we
pues ya se nos
cannot
fue.
take
Agua
advantage
que
of
no
it. So
infiltramos
once it
se nos va, se
evaporates,
evapora.
it's
Y
gone.
las ciudades en México y en el mundo son muy
And
buenas
cities
para
in
dejar
Mexico
el
and
agua.
in the
La que
world
sigue.
are very good
Total
to
que
get
vamos a
rid of
brincarnos aquí.
water.
Esta es la geografía donde les voy a
So
presentar algunas fotografías. Vamos a
I'm
ver la que
going
sigue. ¿De dónde
to show
hemos
you
trabajado? Esto es en la ciudad de
a few
Tucson, por
photographs.
ejemplo.
This
Este es
is
un arbolito
Tucson.
en medio de la calle. Y
It's a tree
esto
in
de
the
la
middle of
cultura del
on
agua,
the
esto de
road.
la cosecha del agua,
And
tiene
this of the
grandes
culture of
implicaciones en
water, of
nuestra vida.
harvesting of
No es
water,
nada más
has a lot
infiltrar
of
el agua, no es nada
implications in
más
our way of
cuidar el
living.
agua,
It's not
son
only
diferentes formas de
in
urbanidad.
the
Nuestras
harvesting,
ciudades son
it's the different
altamente
ways of
calientes, por lo tanto, por la cosecha del agua de
urbanizing. Our
lluvia estamos
cities are
disminuyendo
very
cambios
hot.
climáticos. Por eso
So we
está
see in
este
our same
arbolito en medio
cities
de la calle.
climatic
Yo los
changes. That
reto, yo les pregunto que se pongan a sembrar árboles que cosechen el agua de la calle en medio de los malecones en La Paz, en medio de las intersecciones de las calles en La Paz. Es una vergüenza, es una lástima que cuando llueve en La Paz, toda esa agua se va al malecón e inmediatamente entra al mar. En vez de retener un poquito de esa agua en nuestras calles para alimentar nuestros acuíferos. La que sigue. Y el desierto sonorense tiene una gran diversidad y tiene una gran diversidad, es el desierto más diverso del mundo porque tenemos dos estaciones de lluvia, nos llueve en el invierno y nos llueve en el verano. Por lo tanto, tenemos una gran variedad de plantas y de animales que también aprovechan estas lluvias. La que sigue. Y les voy a mostrar un poquito así rapidito. La que sigue, por favor. Les voy a mostrar rapidito cómo estamos trabajando. Y estas cosas hay que hacerlas divertidas, hay que hacerlas sociales, hay que hacerlas amenas, no hay que hacerlas enfadosas. En México cada rato me dicen, no, pues que hay que hacer legislación. No, 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 no hay que hacer legislación de nada, o sea, hay que cosechar el agua nada más. La que sigue. Por ejemplo, así empezamos en una escuela donde estaba este muchachito. Este es un proyecto que a mí me impactó altamente. Y esto lo hicieron estudiantes de una secundaria. Y así yo he transformado el 80% de las escuelas de la ciudad de Tucson. La que sigue, por favor. O sea, cambios de eso a esto, y eso se da con agua de lluvia en 2 años. Y con el esfuerzo, el entendimiento, la capacitación, la educación de los estudiantes de nuestras escuelas, desde los kinderes hasta las universidades y hasta los colegios. O sea, ese es el impacto del agua de lluvia a nivel pasivo. Cuando cosechamos el agua de lluvia no estamos hablando nada más de tanques. La gente piensa en tanques. No se trata de tanques, se trata de infiltrar el agua, se trata de cosechar el agua, se trata de recuperar los mantos freáticos de nuestras ciudades. Los tanques son muy buenos, pero el impacto que vamos a tener más grande es en sistemas pasivos de la cosecha del agua. La que sigue. Esta es mi casa, por ejemplo, y si me paso del tiempo, pues me detienen porque está muy interesante cómo hemos transformado nuestro hogar. La
2
que sigue.
minutos, doctor.
Empiezas por medir cosas, dale rapidito a la que sigue, por favor. Y esta es nuestra casa, es una casa productora de agua, fíjense. Yo tomo el agua de lluvia, yo infiltro el agua de lluvia, no se sale el agua de lluvia de mi casa y producimos energía solar y producimos agua. Con ese concepto los quiero dejar. Dale a la que sigue a ver si se ven las diferentes formas donde estamos infiltrando el agua enfrente de la casa, y la que sigue nos va a mostrar donde estamos aprovechando el agua de lluvia. Sí, tenemos una cisterna y al fondo esa cisterna nos provee de agua. Con esa agua regamos plantas, con esa agua les damos de beber a nuestras gallinas, con esa agua eventualmente estamos tomando, bañándonos con agua de lluvia. En mi oficina pasada llevamos 7 años tomando agua de lluvia. O sea, es una gran cantidad de oportunidades de las que tenemos para aprovechar el agua de lluvia. La que sigue. Y al mismo tiempo, la que sigue, como donde quiera que voy en México, me dicen que no llueve. Voy a Tlaxcala y me dicen que no llueve. Voy a Chiapas, me dicen que no llueve. Voy a La Paz, me dicen que no llueve. Estoy en Sonora, me dicen
Sorry,
que no
I'm back
llueve.
here.
Bueno,
There was
pues
a
vamos a
problem with
ver qué
internet.
llueve en
I am
México un
in
segundo.
Cabo
Y
Pulmo.
en
This guy is
realidad
awesome.
llueve un montón en México.
Okay.
Nada
So he
más
says it
piensen
rains
en
very much
10,
in
en 100
Mexico.
metros cuadrados, 25 milímetros de lluvia les pueden
25
dar 2,250
millimeters of water in 100
litros
square
por
meters.
cada 25 milímetros de lluvia. En La Paz nos llueve alrededor de 220 milímetros de lluvia al año. Total que es una gran cantidad de litros que podemos
So
aprovechar,
this is an incredible
ya
amount of
sea a
water.
nivel pasivo, o sea, a nivel natural, o a nivel activo, almacenar esa agua en un tanque.
So what we have to
Aquí
do
me voy
is
a
to
detener
store
a ver si
actively
para oír
that
sus
amount of
comentarios.
water, or even try other
Muchísimas
ways.
gracias, doctor Joaquín Murrieta, por
He's
permitirnos
finishing here and
acompañarla a la
he's
reflexión y sobre todo nos deja la piel bastante
so
sensible que debemos ser conscientes para responsabilizarnos de
he's
lo que
letting
está
us know
sucediendo
that
en nuestro hogar
everybody
y
can
cómo
do
siempre
something to
importa
take
traer el agua
responsibility
limpia.
of
Bueno,
what's
entonces
happening
así
in
vamos
every
cerrando.
home.
Le
We
celebramos
don't need
evidentemente
that much
esta charla
water.
tan amena y
We don't need
despedimos
as
entonces
much
al
water
doctor
as we
Joaquín Murrieta,
use.
director de
And I
conservación
apologize
Borderlands
because
Restoration Network.
I
Le
missed it.
agradecemos.
Sorry, and you did too, maybe.
Vamos a pasar entonces a la
So now we
siguiente
are going
presentación
to
del
the
día de hoy.
next
Seguimos también
presentation
agradeciendo a toda
today.
la gente que nos sigue, la transmisión
We
en
are
vivo, las
still
redes sociales.
thanking
Se
everyone.
encuentran puntualmente conectados. Pueden ir dejando sus dudas, comentarios y preguntas para
You
nuestros
can leave your
ponentes.
comments
En
and
este
your
caso voy a
questions,
presentar
and
a
we
la
will deal with
química
them later.
Mónica Robinson Bush
This is
Núñez.
chemist
Ella, como la estamos viendo así en pantalla, tal
Monica
cual, es
Robinson
fundadora y
Boris.
presidenta
She
de la
has
Asociación
founded and
Conviviola,
is the
es
president of
experta
the
en
association
desarrollo y educación
Conviviola.
ambiental,
She's an
ha
expert on
creado programas de
development of
educación ambiental,
merchant
especialmente
education,
diseñados para las
also
comunidades
programs of
costeras rurales.
environmental education,
Mónica
and
ha estado
especially
trabajando por
aimed
diversos
at
años en la
rural
implementación de
areas.
programas de
And
reciclaje y
she
reducción de
has worked on
desechos tanto en Estado
recycling
Sonora como en la Ciudad de
programs
México.
and
Recientemente,
reduction of
Mónica coordinó
waste. Monica coordinated a coordination net called Deplastifícate, Deplastify Yourself, which prohibits the use of plastics in the state of Baja California South. So today she is bringing a very interesting subject: water harvesting in rural environments. What can we do? So, welcome.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Me da mucho gusto estar aquí. Buenas tardes. Es un gran privilegio.
Good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here. And congratulations for the organization of this event. What I want to talk about is the experience we have had in a ranch in BCS, Baja California Sur. Okay. This is a ranch in Baja California Sur, which is we have worked in wild areas and in a vegetable garden and in the house. Rancho La Piedra is north of San Bartolo. As you can see, we are at the base of Sierra de la Laguna. We have worked, this is 129 hectares. We have worked about 2,000 dams and for 1,456 meters in key line channels, which are the ones that you build on the prairie. We don't know exactly, we didn't know what we were going to do, and people were asking us what we were going to do, but we didn't know. After 2 years, we met a person that talked to us about rainfall harvesting, and we didn't know. This person gave us different bibliography, and we started studying. So what they told me is that first we had to plant water, and we started working on the dams and then the kilns, and 90% of the work we have had on the ranch has been about water harvesting. Now we are going to talk about the dams. So there, the red dots are lines are actually dots. All of those lines are like there are dams. We have been building dams over there. Where you see yellow is where we have been taking photos. So this is a photo of the ranch after rains in which we didn't harvest water. So water flows very, very fast, and that's it, and it erodes, and there's nothing we can do. How do we build the dams? Those are basically mini dams with the wall height is about 90 centimeters. The distance is variable, but it depends on the material we have available and the extension. You can see how it slows the speed of water. There's more infiltration of water in the underground. Water slows down, and you can see how the seed of water is and then it grows, and there's more shade, and there's more vegetation, and the results are impressive. This is what it was like at the beginning. that all the rocks were all over the place. That was at the very beginning. So we started to use the material that we had available, rocks, sticks, and after taking the course and read a lot, and we started to see how we had to organize it, and we had to accommodate all the waters to harvest the water. So we start at the very top up of the basin, so we stop erosion. And then we start to level a little bit the ground. You can see that there is grass behind the little dam. And yeah, you can see that there's a little bit of grass growing behind. That you can see it's starting to get green, and you see the rocks and the sticks. And you see before on the left and after the dams were built. It's not exactly the same place, but this is more or less the difference that takes place after we build the small dams. So here you see the dams working and the grass. Those are gabions that when we don't have big rocks in when we don't have big places, then okay, sorry, we're going to watch a video. This is this year after it rained for 4 days, and this is what happens. After the rains, if you start to check all the dams, it's like to see the water flowing after only 4 days running. And you see the little cascades, and that is because everything from the up the basin there are dams, and you can see now this is the well. These are the key line channels of 1,456 meters. On the right, you can see the blue lines. Those are all the channels that were recommended to us. At the beginning, the channels, you could see the channels as you see in the lower photograph. Now it's gone. This is a channel after and before. Here you can see how water gets harvested on the sides, and these are the channels working. So you can see where the water is collected. This is on the left is where it was, and now again where it was before and then after. You can see in the different photos. We have some cattle like goats and terraces. We have built lots of terraces. You can see in the white lines. They have a capacity of harvesting of 141,000 liters of water. You can see that is recycled material. We have used fridges, furniture from La Paz, everything recycled, again, before and after. All that comes from banqueta from La Paz. So you can see the difference in the photos. All the wells on the left is before, on the left is after. Years after. Exactly the same photo years later, and here too. Same thing years later. Okay, and now the vegetable garden. Here you can see on the before it was like completely dry and arid, and on the right you can see the vegetable garden, and there is a tank in the back of the house. You can see the vegetable garden. So they are capturing 40,000 liters of water. They are always prepared to harvest water. So also gray water watering. We recycle gray waters. We harvest 230,500 liters of water. So every home has a tank. Every roof has a tank. So in these cisterns, on these cisterns, a family of 5 people could live just by collecting the rainwater on the roof. And with that cistern right now, with everything that you harvest, in the driest months, we use the water from the cistern, and we still have. This is the infrastructure for harvesting, and this is the water recycling system. It goes to the trees. So what we get in key line, 100 and and then terraces, pots and cisterns and tanks. So a total of 525,000 liters. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Monica, for this beautiful example that you have showed us in a practical way. The numbers that you are giving us prompt us to reflect that all we can do in Baja California South. Thank you very much, Monica. So now we are going to the next stage of this webinar, and we are encourage everyone to please place their questions and suggestions in our through the social networks. Now we are going to show you a beautiful experience that we consider very interesting. This is Rancho Carrachila. We are going to see. We are going to listen to the beautiful stories of success. Here we are in Rancho Cacachilas. It's a project of ecotourism and land restoration, Baja California Sur, near La Paz. My name is Flor, and we are in charge of the restoration program. We are focused on 3 components. First, the control of our sand paths. We have a big network which cross the ranch, and the objective is to avoid and to restore the damage to the paths that we have seen during rain seasons. All the work is focused on ensuring safe traffic and safety during rainfall, and we want to transform our network in rain harvesting paths instead of runoff. The second aspect is to actually to work on harvest water, like building again dams with to stop water runoff and to filter it, regenerate the basin, and increase the amount of water that infiltrates the underground to restore the fauna and flora and to ensure the recharge of aquifers and basically to the big aquifers that are under arroyos and the so we want to restore the ecosystems. So where the places have been damaged by over grazing and erosion, and so we want to try to slow the erosion and improve the erosion. And we are using local materials when there is availability, and rocks or sticks to make gabions. This way, we create what we call a gabion ladder to be able to retain to the most the land, the sand as much as possible. Finally, this benefits the Sierra in general because it increases the evapotranspirations and attracts clouds and therefore more rain. It's a vicious circle which we encourage. It's not so vicious, actually. Maybe wrong translation, sorry. It's a good circle. Okay, thank you very much for this video. I would like to inform you that there is another experimental module for ground water conservation, where exactly these practices are carried out. If you want to visit these ranches, you can get in touch with any of the organizers of these events, and we'll be able to give you information on how to do it. So now we are getting to our questions. So please, everyone, social networks, YouTube, all Latin America, all these people that are following, please leave comments and questions. I'm going to start with one first question that is coming to José Arturo Gleason. Ingeniero Francisco Javier Guzmán says, from Baja California South, 95% of rainfall goes to the sea. The options to harvest water are not a priority. Homes don't count with tanks or cisterns. Tankers? What can we do? Are there governmental subsidies? Anything that could help us? So this is exactly what we are doing now. The experiences that we have lived are very rich. I want to congratulate my colleagues for the effort. We have to inform of what we are doing. First, number one enemy to preserve water is ignorance. Eyes that don't see, hearts that doesn't feel. There is a saying in Mexico, and that's the problem. For me, I went through this event about rainwater harvesting, and then that's when my eyes got opened, and then I started researching and working on it. We cannot wait for governments to tell us to start doing it. So what we are doing is just we need a cultural change. We have to compromise. We need, our conscience has to
Excelente,
tell
toda la
us
razón, doctora.
what
Pues
to
don
do.
Gleason, le agradecemos su respuesta. Nos vamos
Thank you for your
entonces de
answer.
nuevo con el panel de los
We are
ponentes. En este caso, nos llega
we
por ahí
are
una pregunta
we
para
have
el
a
doctor Joaquín
question for
Murrieta.
Dr.
Doctor,
Joaquin
le preguntan en este caso algo que yo creo que todos nos hemos planteado en algún punto de
Murrieta.
nuestra vida.
Everybody have asked
Dice
ourselves
Angélica
at a
López,
point in
perdone
our
mi
lives.
ignorancia, pero pensé
Excuse
que el
my
agua de lluvia tal
ignorance,
vez no
but
se
I thought
podía beber.
rainfall
¿El agua de
water
lluvia realmente se
was
puede
not
beber? ¿Qué me podría decir
potable.
Angélica,
We
usted,
couldn't
doctor?
drink it.
Todo el agua que bebemos,
All the
cualquier agua
water that we
de
drink,
cualquier fuente,
any water
se
from
tiene
any
que tratar.
source, has to
Sea
be
agua de
treated,
pozo, sea agua de presa, sea agua
be it
de
from a
canal, sea
well, from
agua
a
de
dam,
lluvia.
from a
O sea,
channel,
la gente
from
se puede beber el
the
agua de
rain.
lluvia.
Of
Yo
course, you
creo
can
que no.
you can drink it.
Hay que hacer
You have
testeos,
to
hay que
you
ver
have to
filtros
test it.
distintos
You have to
apropiados,
see
así que lo puedes
appropriate
tomar. Y por
filters.
supuesto, yo nada más la
And then,
pregunta
of
es, ¿qué
course,
agua es más
only the question
limpia?
is that
¿El
which
agua de un
water is
arroyo o el agua de
cleaner,
lluvia? ¿El
from
agua de
an
una presa
arroyo
o el agua de
or from
canal?
a
¿El
dam
agua de
or
un pozo o
from
el agua de
the
lluvia?
or from
Generalmente
the
las
rain?
aguas de
Which
lluvia
one?
son más limpias.
In general,
Y hay
rainwater is
formas
the
de verlo.
cleanest.
Hay un grupo muy interesante
There
en
is a very
Baja, San
interesting
Miguel de
group
Allende, Guanajuato,
in
Caminos del
San
Agua, que
Miguel de
han
Allende
creado sus propios filtros
who have
para
created
agua
their
de
own
bombero, para agua
filters
de lluvia,
to
y
drink
con ellos hemos colaborado
rainwater,
incluso a
and we have
instalar
collaborated
sistemas de
with them,
colecta de agua de
also
lluvia para
installing
comunidades
systems of
desfavorecidas
rainwater
y están bebiendo
harvesting,
agua de lluvia.
and they are
Por
actually
supuesto, lo tienes
drinking
que
it.
tratar como todas
And
las
of
aguas.
course, you have to treat it like any
El
water.
recurso de la lluvia
The
es un gran
resource
recurso para beberse.
of
Incluso en
rain
la Ciudad
is
de
a great
México
resource.
también se puede beber el agua. O sea, es cuestión
Even in
de tratar el
Mexico
filtro
City, you can
adecuado.
drink it.
Todas las aguas se tratan.
Yeah, all the
Excelente,
waters are
doctor. Muy
treated.
bien su
Thank
respuesta.
you
Creo que por
very
ahí
much for your
entonces
answer.
ha quedado saldada la pregunta de Angélica López.
So,
Regresamos
Angelica's
entonces
question
al
has been
panel de los
answered.
ponentes. En este caso tengo una pregunta
I
desde la
have now a
audiencia
question
para la química Mónica Robinson. Nos
from
pregunta en este
Monica, for
caso
Monica
el doctor
Robinson.
Enrique Troyo Diegues
Dr.
si
Enrique
promueven en el rancho La
something.
Piedra algún tipo
If
de programa de
in the
capacitación
ranch you
para
promote
hoteles de turismo
any
alternativo
kind
o para ranchos
of program
ganaderos
for
sustentables, agroforestales, así. ¿Qué prácticas en
sustainable
ese sentido
ranchers,
se
or
trasladan a partir
do
del
you
rancho
give
La Piedra,
any
Mónica?
courses? Do you teach?
No tenemos algo formal. De
We
hacerlo
don't
formal,
have
nos
anything
han,
formal.
cuando han ido personas al rancho, les hemos
When
presentado
people
la
come to the
información
ranch, we
necesaria,
have
les han dado los
given them all the
requisitos necesarios, pero
information,
no
we have
tenemos un
walked them
programa
around,
como
but
tal,
we don't have
no lo
a
tenemos.
program as such.
Pero sí
No,
se puede
not yet.
visitar el rancho
You
y
can
ahí
visit the
platicamos
ranch,
cómo lo
and
van a hacer.
there we talk to you about it.
¿Tienen
And
alguna página en Facebook donde la
do
gente
you have
también
any
los pueda
Facebook
contactar,
page
Mónica?
or
Por si en
any way
algún
to
momento
contact
dado se
you, or
vuelven
what would be the
interesar alguna
best
escuela,
way if
universidad.
anybody's interested, schools, universities?
Estamos en eso.
No,
Ahorita
están
estamos
We
en
en
are
ello.
eso.
we are
Ok.
dealing with that.
Sí, sí, la verdad es que
Y-
si nos dedicamos
Yes,
primero a trabajar en esto
we
y
first
ahorita
of all
ya
we are working on it,
ya vamos a empezar a compartirlo, pues de
and
una
we
manera
will
más
be
formal.
able to share it
Claro que
with
sí. Y de hecho,
everybody in
las
a much
personas que
more
están siguiendo
formal
este
way.
conversatorio, si
And
alguien
of
tiene
course, the
una duda
people
de
that are
visitar
following this
o de mantener algún tipo de conversación,
podcast,
a
they
cualquiera de las organizaciones o dependencias de este
they
conversatorio nos pueden mandar un inbox y nosotros le haremos la
anybody that
pregunta a
is
Mónica
listening
Robinson
to
o en
us, they
todo
can ask
caso
us the
gestionar
question,
este
and we
encuentro,
will
¿no? A las
be
personas
able to
interesadas,
manage
algún
this
departamento,
question
universidad.
for
Pues
you.
muchísimas gracias,
Thank
Mónica.
you
Tenemos por
very
aquí
much,
más
Monica.
preguntas.
Here we
Volvemos en
have a
este
few
caso
more
al panel de
questions
los
back.
ponentes y voy a en este momento a narrar una pregunta
We
para el
have
doctor José Arturo Gleason.
Question for Dr.
Esta
Jose
pregunta es de
Antonio.
Roberto Navarro, nos está siguiendo desde el Perú. Hola Roberto.
Someone
Saludos hasta el
from
Perú.
following us
Dice
from
que
Peru.
desde épocas pre-incas existían sistemas de
From
siembra
pre-Inca
y cosecha de
systems, there
agua
were
en las partes altas
harvesting
de las rocas, ¿no? Aguas
methods
y que
in
realmente
the
no ha existido
highlands.
o no se le ha dado un
And
reconocimiento
we
a
haven't
estas
given
antiguas
that
civilizaciones y agrupaciones
a
en
lot
cuya
of
tierra no
importance.
importaban agua de lluvia. Obviamente
It
mando
hasn't been
felicitar
acknowledged.
a todos los panelistas, pero la pregunta iría por ahí,
The
doctor José
question,
Antonio.
in
Es decir,
fact,
esto ya
goes,
sucedió en el
this
pasado. ¿Cómo no
happened
hemos
in
sido
the past.
capaces
How
de
come
seguir
we were not
replicando algo
able
que se
to
hacía con los
keep on
romanos, en este caso los incas? Es decir,
doing something
¿qué nos ha
that was
sucedido con la
carried out
sociedad
by
moderna?
Romans and by Incas? What's happened to society?
La tecnología nos ha hecho más
Well,
comodinos.
technology has the centralization of the dealing with water, or extract a lot of water and distribute through pumps and big systems. That has made humans it's a lot more comfortable. It's much easier. This scheme of water, massive water production, makes us not conscious of the effort that we spend on getting water from the aquifers, from lagoons, and we are not and we are even less conscious that the sources are limited and they are getting scarce. So since we got used to this big centralist system, we just pay, we get the water, we get a system. So we are much too lazy. So we have lost the traditions. Something that happened in Merida in 1960. In Merida, water harvesting was massive. And the moment they created the network and technology caught up, then they abandoned the traditional water harvesting practicing. Water harvesting, sorry. So some communities have kept on preserving these practices. In the highlands in Jalisco, people harvest water and drink it directly. But we have lost this because we are too comfortable in our positions. Yeah, I agree. We have, as a species, we have lost that sensibility. And this is very much together with another comment that we're getting. The water that you see falling, don't let it going. I'm just trying to translate a very traditional saying in Spanish. I would like to keep going with a question to Dr. Joaquin Murrieta. Deb Sayen is asking to manage small dams. Do you interfere, or is there a negative liaison with any other any other sources in nature, like for instance anything to do with for instance with salmon?
No, es que la pregunta es ¿para qué
The
quieres
question
poner
is,
represas donde hay salmón?
why would you like
No,
to build dams where there is
hay que
salmon?
ver en dónde está la
You have
oportunidad
to see.
y hay
You
que
have
ver en
to see
dónde
where
está
the
la
opportunity
necesidad. O sea,
is,
de por
and you
sí,
have to see where the
las
need
represitas que está
is.
haciendo a
So the
Mónica, por
little
ejemplo,
dams that Monica, for
no,
instance,
al
is
contrario,
building
estamos
are
creando
all
hábitat,
the
estamos
opposite. We are
elevando la
creating
felicidad del río para
habitats.
que llegue a un
We
arroyito.
are
No
elevating
se
the level of
recomienda
happiness
hacer presas
of
donde
the
hay ríos, o sea,
ecosystems
jamás,
that live
no,
there. But we
no
would
nosotros.
never dam a river
Y
where
eso
there
no
is
se
salmon.
lo que estamos haciendo, estas
What
represitas,
we are
pues
doing
básicamente en
in these little dams is basically in the tributaries of the big rivers. So you are going to have more efficiency at the end. You are only doing three things. You reduce the speed of water. So how are you going to reduce it? With these little dams. You are going to spread that water. These little dams are also going to help us do that. And at the very end, we are going to infiltrate that water, especially in the kind of regions where our rivers are very brief, and they have brief activity. So if we have infiltration of that water, then we can really use it. Never, in no place have we built these dams to kill any life, but just to reduce the speed in these little arroyos. We are creating a kind of sponge in our mountains so that water starts infiltrating.
Muy bien, excelente, doctor Joaquín.
Very good, excellent. Thank you. You are also explaining how to keep a hydrological system that is healthy. Dr. Joaquin, going back to you.
Comentarios que nos dejan en redes sociales. De hecho, nos comenta hiproecológicos. De cara al comentario y la participación del doctor Arturo, es correcto. La cosecha de agua de lluvia es muy antigua. O sea, realmente
somebody
no
saying that rainwater harvesting is a very old tradition.
Sí me gustaría, porque ese comentario es
yes, I would like. I would like to keep on going because that was a very good comment. Like the water harvest, rainwater harvest. This is nothing new. Harvesting is nothing new. This is like centuries everywhere in the planet. Incas, Aztecs. So God, I didn't get the name of, but it's another Indian tribe. So that's what they would do. Exactly, reduce the speed of water, expand it, and filter it. Now, the only thing that we are doing with this of rainwater harvesting is to adapt those technologies to our ways of living nowadays, especially in urban aspects. And there are two ways of harvesting this water. It's tanks. One is tanks, and the other are passive systems like filtering systems. And that is how we are changing the system, static functionality, climatic changes in our cities. That is why I like very much passive systems, which is what Monica talked about. The rainwater harvest is not just tanking. It's just water infiltration in the water, in the ground. So going back to our comments, because we have several questions related to this. How much approximately how much would it cost to install some sort of system in your own house? It depends on what you would like to do. With me, with a cup of coffee, with a beer, I have made a little basin. All you need is a spade, and almost every house has a spade, and that is how we have been changing our homes. We didn't do it in one go. We just went a little by bit by bit. You see opportunities, and then you work on that. It took us 5 years to get our gardens the way they are now, and we keep on doing things. The cost has been nothing. It has been our effort. My wife and I, and time, the tank, yes, that has cost, and thanks to the community participation, we could tell governments we could ask governments not to pay, but to get incentives to try to make a change. So the city pays you to install a tank. Okay, so we got reimbursed for our investment in these tanks, and we are analyzing this in Coahuila. How you can incentivize this change. Sometimes it is by laws, sometimes by incentives, sometimes ethics, emotion, but the challenge is where it rains, wherever you are. What can you do with that water, and what is the opportunity of saving that rainwater? There's a lot of things you can do with zero cost. Opportunities to harvest rainwater. That is a very interesting idea. And here we have a last question for Monica. This is a professor, Carlos Vicente from Santiago. So he says most of the basin in Santiago is it filters water, so he generates that a lot of water infiltrates. He can water everything that he has around him. He doesn't ever need to water. For you in your ranch, is it exactly like that? Like you don't need to use water for any kind of watering in all the cover? Does it self-maintain? No, not at all. I think in Santiago they have the highest level of water. This is Santiago in Baja California Sur, and it's kind of an oasis for people to understand what she's saying. She's in San Bartolo, and what she's saying, there's less. Okay, going back to her. For when it's raining, we don't have to water, but afterwards we have to. We all have kind of this spongy system. We have to water a lot less than before, but when it is not raining, yes, we do have to keep on watering. So this is good answer for all of us who are planning our own watering system. And this is a very brief question for Don Jose Arturo. Now we are closing. What happens the rest of the dry months? In Baja California Sur, we have just a short rainy season. What happens when there is no rain with all these harvesting systems? This is interesting. What I think that we have to be clear about is how much we can actually collect, talking about what we have, our roof, the amount of space we have. We have to find out how much, like last year it was very, very rainy, like 3 times as much as usual, but really depending on the offer and demand, can I get water to support the whole house? Or so there are different points of view. So if I have a lot of water and I can supply the whole amount of water, or I can just get certain amounts that I can use for watering while while it rains. Another way would be a mixed system. Like while it rains, I use the water, and then when it stops, then again we have to open and use half and half. To reach that decision, you have to give it technical analysis. So depending on where you are, what kind of building you have, your economic capacity, you can get an optimal design that is adapted to the soil that surrounds you.
Nos queda bastante clara por
Thank
su
you.
respuesta. De hecho,
Thank you. Your answer is very clear.
Joaquín Murrieta, que él quiere opinar
Dr. Joaquin Murrieta
doctor Joaquín.
wants also to say something.
Expresó muy bien Arturo, o sea,
Arturo expressed it very well. Addictive. What you want to do with your rainwater. We in Tucson, we are all the rainwater that falls on the city of Tucson could satisfy all the needs of the whole city year round. We wouldn't need to pump water, rainwater from rivers, dams. We just need to be intelligent and balance the demand and offer of water. But it does depend on the objective, on what you want. In passive systems, what happened with those systems? It's a natural cycle. That's why in urban areas, you recommend to work with native plants, because those when it doesn't rain, they don't need water. They've been 15,000 years in these deserts, and they are really totally adapted. But that is a very good question. And my question back to you is, what are we doing with the water that we have nowadays? How efficient are we with the use of water we have now? 60% of the water distribution in Mexico is wasted because of leaks. It's wasted in distribution. And there we are wasting water instead of concentrating on the efficiency of the system. Those are the interesting balances, and that's what I tell everyone, authorities, water authorities. Let's concentrate on the efficiency of the water that we already have. And then afterwards, we will advance in water harvesting, because we are wasting a lot of water in Mexico. 60% of the water in cities in Mexico is being wasted. That's exaggerated. We are doing very, very badly. And that is the constant fight against water in our country. It rains and we take the water out. Then we get water accumulated and we waste it because of the leaks in the system. It's incoherent. And what I suggest is that from our homes, without the need of any help, do your own accounts. harvest your water in any kind of bucket, in 100-liter container. And since when you see that it works at the beginning, then you're going to want to make it bigger. Look at Monica. She's been doing a lot of dams. Yeah, it becomes an addiction. You cannot stop. You have to start with something that you have a little bit of control on, and then yeah, nobody is going to tell you anything, not the government,
Nosotros
¿Qué nos
nothing.
quieres contar, Mónica? Adelante.
tenemos 12
Monique,
años trabajando
we
en
have been
esto,
working on
empezamos
this
con
for
un
12
depósito de
years.
203
We
metros, ¿no?
started with
Y
one,
ahora
two,
en este
three
año
little
que se nos
dams. But
llovió más y que
this
se nos
year, when
desbordó
it rained
la
a lot
cisterna,
more and it overflowed, our
empezó una
cistern
adicción que me quería
overflowed,
morir, quería salir corriendo y
I
ponerle
wanted to kill myself,
cubetas a
like
la
to
cisterna
stop
para que no se nos
all
fuera el
this
agua. O
water
sea,
that we were
y
wasting
luego
because it
ver
was overflowing, and
correr
then to
los
see all this
arroyos. Me acuerdo
water,
que cuando
the
empezamos nos dijeron,
arroyos flowing. When we
vamos a correr el
started,
agua.
told us
Y
here water is going to be flowing,
seco,
and
pero
it
decía,
was
¿cómo vamos a ver correr el agua?
so
Y
dry that
pasaron como 8
I could
años
not believe
y
it.
vimos
And
correr el agua por
8
primera vez.
years
Habían pasado 15
8 years
días
passed, and
después de las
finally
lluvias.
we saw the
15
arroyos
días después,
run.
en los
And then it started raining
arroyadas estaba corriendo el
15
agua.
days
Y eso,
later, and
eso
the
nos
arroyos
pasó
were running.
en este año también, porque el agua
And
corría
this year, the same happened again. And you see, water, it rains and it goes. But to see here that it rains and the water keeps on
Maravilloso.
running, it is pure happiness.
Maravilloso, lo entendemos
This is
completamente, Mónica.
wonderful. We
Y
completely
bueno,
understand you,
agradecemos
Monica.
por ahí también todos los
Well,
comentarios que seguimos
thank you very
recibiendo.
much
Tenemos
to
más
all
de
the
94
comments.
comentarios en
We
Facebook.
have
Nuestra
over
audiencia está
94
muy
comments
activa,
on Facebook.
escribiendo
Our
dudas, comentarios.
audience is
Algunas por
very
ahí tal vez se
active
nos van a
with
quedar pendientes por tema de
comments
tiempo.
and
Pero agradecemos muchísimo el público que ha
questions,
estado
but
súper
we
activo. De
really
eso se
thank
trata, de
public.
concienciar
We
y de que este
want
mensaje llegue a
people
más
to get
personas.
the
Nos comenta por ahí
conscience
en
and that the
Facebook Zoe
message goes
Frías,
to everybody.
maravillosos
Here
todos
we
los
have a comment.
comentarios. Concordamos
Wonderful.
contigo, Zoe, sin duda. Excelentes y estupendos.
Wonderful,
Y para ir
everyone.
cerrando entonces el conversatorio de
And
esta tarde, que ha estado bastante ameno y creo que hemos
and
aprendido muchísimo todos,
to
vamos a
finish
pasar a
with
la
our
etapa de entrega de
webinar today,
reconocimientos a nuestros
we
ponentes,
are
por supuesto, hay que
going to give
agradecerles. Así que vamos por
reconnaissance
ahí a
to all
proyectar
our
lo que serían las
commenters.
constancias. Por ahí
So
leo,
here we're going
si nos
to
ayudas con este
show,
tema.
what we are going,
Si lees,
everybody is
vemos
going to
en
be
pantalla lo que
awarded
sería la primera constancia o
credits for
reconocimiento,
their
en este caso lo
presentation.
voy a leer de forma textual.
Okay, I'm
En
reading
este caso
textually.
se
In
otorga el
this
presente
case, we are
reconocimiento
giving
al
this
doctor José Arturo Gleason
title to
Espíndola
Dr. Arturo
por su
Gleason Spindola
participación en el
for his
conversatorio virtual
participation
Más
in
agua
the
para
virtual
BCS, captación de
webinar
agua
More
limpia en la
Water
comunidad
for
Gallo y Morado,
BCS,
compartiendo el tema
water
oportunidades
harvesting,
para
rainwater
México para
harvesting
la
in the
captación de
context
agua limpia.
of
Gracias por
cities
ser
and
parte de la red
country,
de
urban and
científicos
rural.
trabajando para encontrar mejores soluciones ante la crisis
So
del agua
thank you
que
to all
vivimos
the
en nuestra
scientists
región,
and researchers working
México y
for
el
the
mundo.
better
Firma por ahí la ingeniera Diana Arias,
distribution of
directora de la
water.
Comisión Estatal del Agua del
This is
UABCS,
signed
la
by
doctora Sara
these few
Cecilia Díaz
people
Castro,
that you
directora
see.
general del Consejo Sudcaliforniano de Ciencia y Tecnología, una servidora, y la licenciada
It's
Paulina
also
Godoy
signed
Aguilar,
by myself
directora del
and by
programa
Paulina,
Instituto Costero de BCS.
director of the
Así con
program
esta
of Baja
constancia presentamos
California
evidentemente
Institute.
reconocimiento tanto para el doctor Joaquín Murrieta como para la
So
química
we have
Mónica
this
Robinson.
same
Muchísimas
title
gracias, sin
goes
duda
to each
aplaudimos por
of
aquí
our
de forma presencial y de
presenters,
forma
and
virtual porque ha salido redondo este
thank you
conversatorio y ha sido
everyone,
obviamente
and
muy entretenido.
it's
Estoy
been
segura que
really
hemos aprendido muchísimo. También antes
we
de
have all
finalizar,
learned
no
a
me
lot with
gustaría
it,
dejar de agradecer
and
a todas las personas que están detrás de cámaras y que han hecho esto posible, que es un equipo bastante grande y a los cuales
I
hay que
would like to
agradecer
thank everybody
infinitamente. Agradecer a la
who's
traducción de
been
Pilu
behind.
Ancilla, muchísimas gracias Pilu, a todo el equipo de
Thank you.
ley, a todo el contexto
Thank
digital
you
de
to the
gadgets
whole
que está
team.
por ahí también muy pendiente, a Paulina Godoy, a Zoe
There's a
Frías y
whole
a
team
Cristina
behind all this.
Talamantes, a Tatiana Davis, Sara Díaz, Estamos muy contentos
all these people she's mentioning.
para justamente seguir hablando de cuáles son las
So, and we are going to keep on talking about solutions and getting more water in Baja California South.
En el clima árido de Baja California Sur.
So we are dealing with our
que justamente en las partes altas de nuestras cuencas es donde más se puede captar agua de lluvia.
In the highlands of our peninsula, we can harvest a lot of water, and we are wasting a lot of our resources. So we encourage you to please join us in 1 week, same place, and we will have another podcast called Ecological Techniques to try to harvest water in homes and cities, residual waters. What are we doing here to treat residual waters?
Así que, doctor José Arturo Gleason Espíndola, le agradecemos muchísimo su participación.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
No, pues, muchísimas gracias. Allá a sus lugares de origen y felicidades a mis colegas y a todos los que se han conectado. Esperamos que
Thank you to everyone who connected and to all my colleagues.
Totalmente, doctor José Arturo, muy agradecidos.
Yes.
También saludamos hasta
Thanks a lot.
Joaquin Murrieta-Saldivar.
Thank you, Joaquin Murrieta in Tucson. Thanks a lot.
Nomás aprovecho mi esposa,
I would like to see my wife is from La Paz, and we will be there in December. Please use me. A little workshop, a conversation, a beer, a cantina. I love talking about this, and yeah, just for free. Yeah, go install a tank, create a little basin. I'll speak to Paulina and also to visit the ranch, Dr. Monica's ranch. Thank you, Dr. Joaquin, and please leave your comments in our Facebook page. And thank you to our Dr. Monica, chemist, and the beautiful experience that she shared with us from her own home. Thank you for inviting me, and I am pleased to share the work that we are doing here and to listen to my colleagues. Thanks a lot. And you are totally invited to visit my ranch. And again, in an informal way for now, but in the future it will be in a formal way. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye to everyone. It was a pleasure to have you. Thanks to the audience. See you next Monday. Take care. Beautiful evening. Bye.